All right, focus, focus, focus. Oh, there we go. All right, guys, talking about lower back fat and love handles and the best way to get rid of those lingering layers of fat. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. It's your boy Hardbody. Time for today's video. I am answering a subscriber email. Somebody emailed me a question about love handles and lower back fat. And this guy was, I think he said he's 27. Has been working out for a while, finally starting to get down into the lower digit body fat numbers, but he can't seem to lose that last little bit of fat. And he's wondering, in my opinion, what should you do? So the first things first, and I'm sure you know because you've been training a while, if you are not already at a decent body fat percentage where you can see your abs, you can visibly see definition in your midsection, this video is not going to be for you. This video is for those who have made all of the hard work adjustments and coming down, because it starts with your nutrition. If your nutrition is on point, you're starting to come down in the body fat and you're starting to see your six pack, but now you're hanging on to that last layer. Now you're hanging on to the midsection. Now you're hanging on to the love handles and that spare tire around. This video is going to be more so for you. Not saying you can't watch this, but just keep it kind of in your favorite tabs, just something to save for later. So that way, once you get a little bit leaner and you can start to lose the body fat, you can always come back to this. First things first, like I was about to say, anybody who's been training for a while knows you cannot spot reduce fat. You can spot train areas, and that's what we're going to touch on in this area, but you cannot spot reduce. So, in other words, as far as losing that last little bit of body fat, you've already done the hard work. You've already come down. You see the definition. Now you're wondering. Now, for you, it's about fine tuning. I would look into your macronutrient ratios. I would look at your total calories if I were you. It's something missing to where you can't, you're still hanging on to some of that last little bit of body fat. And it may be a very, very small, minute change, but it could be making that difference in those last probably 5-6 pounds you're hanging on to. Let me also say this, just as something you want to keep in mind. I have love handles. I hang on to a little bit of body fat on my midsection. Not necessarily in my lower back or in my front. I don't really have like the beer gut, but in my love handles. And I have to get really, really, really lean to get that off. Now, that is something you may not want to do, because if it is truly, truly unsustainable, it may be hard for you to keep that off. I know some top level athletes who, even as lean as they are, and I mean, these guys walk around with 8-pack abs all year, they still hold a little bit of water weight, a little bit of body fat onto their love handles. And for most of us men, that's usually one of the last areas to go. So we can greatly reduce that area, but to completely eliminate it, it may require a little bit of unhealthy practice. But again, to each their own. Everybody's different. It's just my advice. You came down from such a heavy weight and now you're really getting lean. We can reduce that. But again, it's going to take a little bit of you being a little bit more specific with your nutrition. You can't just tell me, hey, I eat this amount of this and that amount of that and this and this. What am I missing? You have to get a little bit more in particular with your caloric intake and figure out where the missing link is. And I'm more than willing to help. Just send me another email. Now, even though I just gave you that advice on how to lose from that area, there's actually some really, really cool training tips that I'm about to give you that you can use to make that area look a little bit better. So even though you are not super, super lean, you will still have a very nice midsection. You'll still have a very nice abdominal area where you don't have to be 6 to 5% body fat, but you still can see your abs visibly like you said you can now, and you can start to see those obliques, because the area you're talking about is the obliques. Okay, you have a lot of body fat, well, a little bit of body fat sitting in your obliques, in your lower back. And the way your abs work, it's not just here. Everybody thinks that this is their abs. Yeah, that's the rectus abdominis. So technically it's your six pack, but you have your transverse, you have your inner and outer obliques. All of this wraps around. I don't know if I can see here. All of this wraps around, and when I stand up, you can actually see right here. Get in focus. I'm holding a little bit right here myself. And as you can see, I'm pretty lean. It's just one of those things. So a good advice tip to give you is to learn to train your obliques. And when I mean train your obliques, I mean train them in the way that the muscles run. If you think about the bicep, right? The way it works, there's extension through the elbow, and then there's flexion. That's what helps train our bicep. So the way the obliques work, the way the rectus abdominis works first is tilting, obviously, top down, and then bottom up on those crunches, movements like that. I'm trying not to get like too scientific because I don't want to lose you guys. But a really good way to train your obliques is rotation. So anything like a medicine ball or a Russian twist, anything like a cable rotation. I'm going to actually do an ab workout. I'm going to do an ab workout to specifically hit those muscles so you can see what I'm talking about. Movements I would tell you to avoid if you're looking on making that area look a little bit slimmer would be any side bending movements. Stay away from any dumbbell side bends, anything like that where it's weighted, especially if it's weighted. Because yes, you're still training your obliques, but you're going to build up your midsection to the point it's a little bit blocky. And what'll happen is if you have a wide back, right, you'll come down, but then your midsection's like this. And I don't know about you, but I always wanted the nice V taper. Nice slim waist, goes up, spreads out to the lats, to the shoulders, and then all of a sudden it gives it a more aesthetic appearance. Everybody doesn't train for aesthetics, but based off what you've told me, I can see that kind of being your goal. So my advice is A, get your nutrition to the T in check, and learn to train your obliques. Keep working on your abs, keep doing your crunches, and certain other exercises, but there's a whole bunch of ab workouts I would like to give you guys in future videos. So if that's something you guys are interested in, let me know what areas you're trying to hit, and I can tell you how to effectively train those areas. Again, you can't spot reduce fat, but you can definitely spot train certain areas and build up our weaker points in our physique. Like I always tell you guys, the advice is free. Hustle and soul separately. Be sure to send me an email if you guys have any questions on anything you want to touch on, guys. Remember, fitness is a marathon, not a sprint. You guys be good. Holla at your boy. Get this work.